Hello. I'm going live. Just year three of my sports show on the Swivel at the Sports Bar. And I went, I used to go live on my other channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. But I'm going to go back live here and I'm going to learn how to build the audience. A couple of my buddies may come up, they may not. But so here we are live again. We're going to just talk sports. I'm no expert, but I'm like the fan next door, you know? And so welcome aboard. If you come in, hit the like button. Just hit that like, keep hitting that like button, you know? And share this, because I like to build an audience in the future. And so we're going to go through the paces. We're going to talk just like everybody talks, football, basketball. We're going to talk just, I got some side things I'd like to talk about. You know, we'll get in depth. So if my boys show up, at least I'll have some people to talk back and forth. Other than that, I'm going to just go through the process and just say my thoughts as we look at some of the artifacts I put together. So, and if you stay here to the end, I appreciate that as well. You know, just subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the chat if you're here early or in the comments on the replay what you think. You know, so I'm looking for more subscribers, of course, but I'd rather just for now just hit the like button. You know, tell me whether you want to groove with a new. Everybody's talking sports these days, so every so often I do reaction videos to the big guys who have their podcasts. I'm just more like just the regular guy next door who wants to talk sports. You know, so you know, it's good time sometimes to be an amateur at these kind of things and just have some fun with it. You know, so you see my like, share, comment, and subscribe below. And we're gonna get ready to go in a minute or two after this introduction's over. And we're just going to hit football first. You know, if my boy pops up, that'll be great. If not, that's okay. We'll catch him the next time. Again, this is season 3, episode 1 of On the Swivel at the Sports Bar here on the unique Sports Talk podcast. All right. Typical disclaimers here. Hit the like button for the algorithm. Share the link if you like what you hear. Subscribe to the channel. I'm here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern. All right, so join the chat if you're here and you want to stick around. And if you see this on replay, you know, leave a comment. You know, I appreciate that. All right, so man, it's football season, man. So let's talk some football. What are we looking at right now? I like to just look at the standings. And we got some more stuff with just looking at the standings. But we got some of the typical players. And then we got some surprises at the top, right? The Bears are a surprise. Right now, I think the Bears are probably the number 1 seed in NFC. Matter of fact, I think they beat out the Rams in tiebreakers. In the AFC, the Jaguars and the Colts are the 2 surprises. The Bills are good, but it seems like they took a step back. And, of course, the Patriots are surprising everybody with their 11-2 record. And it doesn't look like a fluke, does it? And the Broncos are good, too. But I think they're being overshadowed a little bit by the Patriots, you know. And the Ravens and the Steelers, I'm not so surprised about their record. But the Ravens took a huge step backwards. I think they just took a Lamar Jackson is not looking good this year, if you ask me, and you know, especially in the clutch. I think he's back to thinking too much as opposed to just playing the game, and they got their asses kicked last week by the Bengals, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, of course, it's any given Sunday. But they look terrible, you know, and a guy blows a touchdown by fumbling it. You know, I mean, maybe it was a good defensive play, but he loses the ball right at the end line. Maybe that would have changed the momentum of the game. But after that, man, it was all Bengals, and the Ravens look like just doo-doo. So that's the standings. I just wanted to leave this up so you can look at it, just in case you had some things that stuck out at you. I think the Texans are playing pretty good. The Panthers are playing pretty well with the young quarterback. Uh, who else? The Lions, I think, took a step backwards a little bit. And of course, the Chiefs may not make the playoffs either this year. So, I mean, there might be some big changes coming. So let's look at let's look at who's playing this week coming up, week 14 matchups. And how many good games? We got some good games. We're going to start getting some good divisional games, some good inter-conference games. Because now that we're closer to the end of the season, we're going to start seeing a lot more games that matter head to head, right? So the Cowboys and the Lions is going to be a good game. The Browns and Titans, the Seahawks are pretty good, so they need that win against the Falcons. The Colts and the Jaguars, a divisional game, and that's going to be a good game. The Commanders and the Vikings should be an interesting game. The Bills, if they fall asleep against the Bengals, they could lose because my man Burrow is back. So he's dangerous and he's pretty good if he could stay healthy. The Steelers and the Ravens. Now, I don't think the wild card is coming from that particular division. So the Steelers have 2 games against the Ravens, vice versa, between now and the end of the season. And if either one of those teams sweep those 2 games, the other team is not going to make the playoffs, period. It's as simple as that. There's going to be too many wildcard teams with good records, winning records. So these are critical. That's a critical game. And it's going to be at Baltimore. But, Baltimore looks like shit, man, if you ask me. They don't even look that good. So I'm not too sanguine on Baltimore doing anything, So even if they win, the way they're playing, does anybody think that they could make the Super Bowl with their team? Absolutely not. So none of that helps Lamar Jackson, but he's got to make the playoffs, I guess. All right. So I always pick my top 5 games that I think we should, put on the radar and watch. It's funny because I watched the Red Zone channel, right? I've very rarely watched any particular game all the way through. I watch the Red Zone channel. I just like the fact that you get a full view. Of course, everybody plays fantasy football, so I like to see a little bit of the critical plays of a lot of games, as opposed to looking at one game, suffering through all the commercials and all of that crap. So the Colts and the Jaguars, like I said, should be a good game. It should be a really, really good game. The Bears and the Packers, another divisional game. Again, we're looking at people fighting for all the marbles. The Ravens and the Steelers, both 1 and 2. Right now, the Ravens have the tiebreaker, but nothing's more important than head-to-head competition. So that should be a really good game. I would even imagine on a Red Zone channel, we're going to see a lot of that game. And then, of course, the Cowboys and the Lions, those are 2 conference rivals. The Cowboys need to win to stay pace with Philly, even though Philly is not a juggernaut this year. But you can't afford to be too many games behind, going down the stretch. And then the Texans are kind of surprised. There's a very good chance that the Texans could beat the Chiefs coming up this weekend. And I think the Chiefs they can't have more than 1 or 2 more losses. And then they're done, if they're not done already. Okay? They lost some pretty good games. And I'm sure they're, in dire straits when it comes to tiebreakers and things of that nature. Okay? So that's that for that. So let's see what's going on. So we got some analysis from some guys about the playoff picture, and I'm gonna play a little bit of it and react to it based on what I hear, so you guys can see that there's other people talking about this, because it's about time for us to start talking about playoffs and the playoff picture. People are getting eliminated. Nobody has clinched it all yet, but it's a good time to talk about it.
Week 14, where things sit in both the NFC and the AFC. Let's begin with a brief overview of the AFC. The Patriots are the number 1 seed right now at 11-2. The Broncos, the number 2 seed at 10-2. There is a 2-game gap between the 3 and also the 5, 6, 7 teams, because the playoff picture gets weird sometimes. Ravens had the tiebreaker over the Steelers, who are not dead yet. Texans and Chiefs also fighting for their playoff lives. In the NFC, the Bears have the number 1 seed. They have the tiebreaker for now, at least, over the LA Rams. That could ebb and flow as the season goes on, of course. Eagles have the 3 seed at 8-4. Bucks at 4-7. Rams have the tiebreaker over the Seahawks, by the way, at 9-3. Packers are 8-3-1. Niners are 9-4, which somehow feels right for a record for the 49ers, inverted. Lions, Cowboys, Panthers among the teams that are still fighting for playoff lives. Now, if you want weekly playoff picture videos, clinching scenarios, there are no clinching scenarios yet, but I do think there is a chance we get some next week, depending on what games and outcomes, how they all.
Let's just skip ahead a little bit.
All right, let's go in depth on the AFC. That one changed the most, or at least was the most recently updated, thanks to the Patriots win over the Giants, 33-15 in Week 13. The Patriots actually have their bye. And then they get the Bills in Week 14, which would be a sweep for the Bills, or for the Patriots or the Bills, which matters oh so much there. And then get the Ravens, Jets, and Dolphins to wrap up their season.
Listen, they got them a greater than 99% chance of making the playoffs. Of course, they're going to be in the playoffs. I think looking at their schedule, of course, Baltimore is always dangerous. But the only game they may lose in these last 4 games is against Buffalo. And Buffalo's not playing the best football either. So they may sweep these 4 games. There's a good chance they're going to sweep these 4 games. Now, the Miami game might be in question because they might just rest everybody. They might just sit everybody out in lieu of the playoffs, especially. And I hate doing that, because if they get the number 1 seed in the AFC, that means these players won't have played for like almost 3 weeks. And I don't see how that benefits any football player unless you're really, really hurt.
Playoff probability you see on each of these is per Next Gen Stats. So the Patriots, there is a minute scenario in which they lose out and don't get in, but it's essentially 0, greater than 99% there. All right, Denver, the number 2 seed, the overtime thriller over the Commanders. 5 games left. The Raiders, a very winnable game. And then things do get more challenging against 4 potential or at least playoff fringe teams in the Packers, the Jags, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. 99% right now for the Denver Broncos. Most years, 10 wins gets you in.
Yeah, okay. So when we look at the with the Broncos, okay, I'll give them the Raiders. They're going to have a challenge with Green Bay, of course. Jacksonville, that's going to be – listen, the only game on this – I think the game that might be the easiest for them is Kansas City, believe it or not. And then, of course, the L.A. Chargers, they're decent. But, of course, there's nothing that's going to really stand in the way of them making the playoffs, okay, and probably winning the division. All right, so this 99% is legit, and I just see them kind of coasting into the playoffs. How far they go is another thing.
There's just might be 11 in either the AFC or the NFC this year, but they're in good shape. Jacksonville's getting hot at the right time. An easy win over the Tennessee Titans, and they control their destiny in the AFC South. They have 2 more games against the Colts, which will matter oh so much. They've also got the Jets, the Broncos in a big game, and again, the Titans. If the Jets.
All right. So when I look at Jaguars, right, they got them at 81%. And that's only because they have the Colts at some high percentage because of their record already. And they got 2 games against the Jags. And so those games, most people think they're going to split those games, but Indy can very well win both of them. But Jaguars are going to beat the Jets, and they're going to beat Tennessee. All right, so with those two wins, that's probably going to make sure that they get into the playoffs over people like Kansas City or Pittsburgh or the Ravens if they don't win the division, right? So I think that these guys at 8-4, if they get to 10 wins, they're 10 or 11 wins, I should say. They're going to be, they're at 12 wins right now. So they're in 12 games. So if they get to 10 wins, they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be okay. If they're going at 10-7, they already got, that means that pretty much, Kansas City and those guys and Pittsburgh and the Ravens can't afford to lose more than one game. And I don't even think they have the tiebreakers over the Jags.
Jags can split against Indy, take care of business against the Jets and the Titans. You would, in theory, think that puts them in a really good spot to take care of business and take control of the AFC South. So who wins the AFC South? Now suddenly up for grabs. C for the Colts, J for the Jaguars, or T for
the Texans are not going to win the South. It's going to be the Jags against the Colts. Now, if the Jags win both of those games, then they got it. But I think the Colts are going to beat them out.
Texans sound off in the comments of today's show. The Ravens are the number 4 seed, but they had a bad loss against the Bengals in Week 13. Could have put them a game up and not just tiebreaker up over the Steelers. But they have 2 more games against Pittsburgh, which will have massive implications for the AFC North. Bengals, Patriots, and Packers are the remaining games left.
All right, so let's just look at it, right, before he goes on. 69% is pretty low, but it's probably higher than people thought when they started out 1-5. You know what I'm saying? When they started out 1-5, people say, hey, shit, man, these guys ain't making the playoffs, because I think it was no team that started 1-5 made the playoffs. I think since almost 1970 or some shit like this. Some crazy way back in the past. Now, we got a couple of teams that might break that this year. But as bad as the Ravens are playing, I'm thinking they're going to lose. They're going to split with Pittsburgh. I think that's a guarantee. They're going to lose to New England, and there's a good chance they'll lose to Green Bay. So they may not get into the playoffs, and that might be the only thing that might save Tomlin. And I don't know what his schedule is like, but I think they're going to split with Tomlin, and I think they're going to go take it down to the wire. But I think Baltimore is going to lose a couple of big games that's going to elevate Pittsburgh above them by 1 game for the division. And, of course, Baltimore is not going to have a good enough record to get in as a wild card. Something has to drastically happen for that team, for them to actually elevate from where they are right now. And that loss from the Bengals, it was not just a little, it's like they gave up. It's absolutely like when they lost that touchdown, it's like they gave up. How did that team even resemble something that can go to the Super Bowl? And Lamar Jackson's on my fantasy quarterback, the fucking guy, I think he had less than 10 points. Lamar Jackson with less than 10 fantasy points. And I'm only saying that not because of the fantasy game. It's that it's indicative of how poorly he played. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the best thing for them is that they don't make the playoffs. And I'm going to be pissed, but, he's going to have to take that hit, because they really look like shit. They really do. And Tomlin, I think his coaching career is on the line.
You kind of wanted to sweep the Bengals if you were the Ravens. That would have given you some buffer. It's going to come down to the wire, maybe even down to the final game of the season between the Ravens and the Steelers.
Even before we go on, they could lose to Cincinnati again, because this next game is in Cincinnati. They got their butts whipped in Baltimore. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, whatever you might think of his health and the way he's in and out, He's dangerous, and of course, they got one of the most dangerous receivers in the NFL. Okay, so so they could lose that game to Cincinnati too. So I think the Ravens, I think they're going to be out, and probably rightfully so for how much they stunk up the place, because they're not going to be no good in the playoff either. I'd be very, very surprised.
Chargers are the number 5 seed here. They took care of business fairly easily over the Raiders. They've got the Eagles coming up on Monday Night Football, which is a massive game for both teams. They've got the Chiefs still, Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos. So at minimum, they're going to control their destiny, but that is not exactly an easy path for a very banged up team. We'll see how Justin Herbert looks with the hand surgery. I think he's going to play against the Eagles, but LA's got a pretty tough stretch here down the stretch. That sounded bad. But anyway, the Colts, the number 6 seed, kind of an unfortunate loss against the Texans. 2 games against the Jags matter a lot, but also Seattle, San Francisco, and Houston. They play potentially 5 playoff teams. Houston game may or may not matter at all for one of those teams down the stretch. As good as the Colts had looked for so much of the season, the ride's gotten a little bit bumpy, and they're going to have to find a way to level things off here in the not too distant future.
Well, I forgot about that big loss to the Texans. But the truth of the matter is, in Jacksonville, if Jacksonville wins their 2 games, they're going to beat these guys out. And they absolutely do have 5 playoff games to get in. So I think Jacksonville has a little bit edge over the Colts. I think I had it the other way around. Now that I'm looking at their schedule, they could lose all of these games. They'll probably split with Jacksonville. That's how division games go. But the Seattle could beat them. San Francisco could beat them. Of course, we just saw Houston beat them. So, and so they could beat them again because they're at Houston. So they lost at home, and now they're going to Houston. So and Houston is going to be battling for a playoff spot themselves. So nobody's resting anybody for the Colts or for Houston, or for Seattle for that matter, or for San Francisco, and all for So it's going to be a hard road. So that 70% probability might be a little high if they lose all of these games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And an 8-4, yeah, so. Well, I think they'll win. I think they'll win at least 1 or 2 of them, but we'll see that. But every week the playoff picture is going to change.
Sure. The Colts at number 6, a Week 13 win the Bills at number 7. Excuse me, Week 13 win over the Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Browns, Eagles, and Jets. Overall, that schedule's not that hard. I think that this is a stretch of games the Bills should be able to win, should be able to take care of business, and get themselves into the playoffs, even though a lot of the big-name quarterbacks are not guaranteed right now.
Well, listen, they got a 90%, 91%. So if we just go by the chalk, right, they should beat Cincinnati, and they should beat the Jets. But New England, I'm sorry, and they should beat Cleveland, okay? So they only stand to lose 2 more games, and if that's the case, if they win, if they go 3-2, they're definitely in. So that 91% is pretty solid. It's pretty solid because it's more likely that they're going to be in.
This episode is brought to you by.
Do we skip over? What else is he talking about? I don't want to need no commercials. Okay, so that's that for this. No, here we go. Now we're talking about Houston, right? We're going to skip over the commercial. Let's see what he's talking about.
Keeping those hopes alive. Borderline elimination game this week against the Chiefs. Winner of that game gets to 8 wins or 7 wins in the Chiefs' case. Tiebreaker, it boosts. Loser, it might be too much to overcome at that point. Texans schedule, though, Cardinals and Raiders. Wedge tiebreaker.
Right, so let's look at their schedule. See, this is why I'm saying the Ravens and the Steelers, the only one getting into the playoffs from that particular division is whoever wins the division, right? Because there's a lot more teams, who have better records than them already. So let's just be fair. They're going to lose. Let's just say that Kansas City is playing bad football. Hey, Coach Ferg. Hey, I got you. Man, I don't know if you could come up or not, but Kansas City's playing bad football. And, I'm over here talking to myself. So if you're on speak only, that's cool. So we just go and do, recapping some of this stuff for the playoffs. So let me go ahead. So I believe that Houston is in bad shape. Go ahead. What's up?
Think about Kansas City, right? Think about it. They really haven't been clicking all season.
That's right.
However, they still in the hunt, right?
Yes.
They still in the hunt. So over the next 4 or 5 games, they can go on a 4-game winning streak, and it'll all just be part of the process. You never know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I agree with you. We're going to probably get to Kansas City next because this guy's going over the probabilities, and Kansas City's probably next because he's going over the AFC guys. But right now, Houston's up, right? Houston just beat the Colts, which is a big win. But they could lose that game to Kansas City, but they already have one game in hand over Kansas City, right? Because Kansas City's 6-6. We could say Houston's going to beat Arizona. They're probably going to beat Vegas. It's going to be a toss-up with the Chargers. And they'll probably lose that second game to Indy.
Okay.
Right? But they're home, though, in that game with Indy, with the Colts.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard.
But if they win, right, let's just say they win. If Houston wins 3 out of these 5 games, Kansas City's not making the playoffs.
Well, if Houston wins and Kansas City lose, what's the record of Kansas City? And
I think we're going to get to Kansas City in a second. Let me go ahead.
What's the Texans' record?
Their record, the Texans are 7-5.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose in Kansas City. They can't afford to lose. Whoever loses, the other team going to win the division.
Well, no, but okay, they got a game in hand, and Kansas City still has to play out other games.
Right.
Right. So even if Kansas City beats the Texans, they'll have a tie record. But the chances are the Texans could win those other 4 games. I don't think Kansas City's going to win all 5 of their remaining games.
All right. So who does
and let me go because let me see because I think he's going to talk about them in a minute. All right. So that's the Houston. So we know what Houston's going to. They got a 63% chance. Now he's talking about the Steelers. So let's keep going because I think he's going to hit Kansas City soon. All right. So look at the Steelers. Okay. The Steelers are okay. And this is what I said about Steelers and Baltimore. The wild card is not coming from their division. That either the Steelers or the Baltimore has to win the division, or else they're not making the playoffs. What do you think about that? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. So the Steelers are up right now. They're 6-6, and Baltimore's 6-6. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So one of those teams are not making the playoffs.
Right. One of them ain't gonna make it.
Right. The only the division winner is going to come out of that division. Right. So Baltimore. They got 2 games against Baltimore, and it's fair to say. Let's just say it's going to be a split. Right. I mean, that's fair to say. It doesn't have to be, but most likely it's going to be a split.
Yeah.
So then they have Miami, they have Detroit, and they have Cleveland. So Pittsburgh, if they played a good brand of football out of the next 5 games,
they can win 4.
I was going to say that. They could win 4. And, so if they go 10-7, okay, and they still only have a 30% chance. Maybe their percentage is a little high, but I'm looking outside of Baltimore. Who could beat them if they're playing their game?
Nobody.
Detroit is going to be a toss-up.
Yeah, that's going to be a toss-up.
Yeah, so Detroit and one of those Baltimore games. So let's be fair. Let's say they're going to go 3-2.
Yeah.
right? So they're going to be. Let's say they end up 9-8. Okay, so now it definitely depends on how Baltimore ends the season. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see who's next. All right, so he's talking about the Ravens or the Steelers. Let's talk about
Who
this.
wins the AFC North? R for the Ravens, S for the Steelers.
He already
Let me
did the
know in the
Ravens.
comments.
I think it's like right now, I don't have the Ravens doing better than the same thing. So now here we are at Kansas City. All right, so you wanted to talk about Kansas City.
It was a painful loss against the Cowboys. And now sorry, Bengals, but let me know in the comments section of today's show. Sorry, Bengals, but hey, we'll talk about you in a second. The Chiefs, that was a painful loss against the Cowboys. And now they pretty much have to win out because they lose a bunch of the tiebreakers. They don't have a lot of advantages in that area. Texans, Chargers, 2 playoff potential teams. Titans, Denver, and the Raiders. 2 of those should be wins, but if the Chiefs win 4 of those games, they might be the 10-win team that gets left out.
All right, so okay. Well, he said if they win 4 of those games.
Now for the other 4,
the chances is that they're only going to win 3 of those games, right?
Yeah,
they're gonna. They could lose. They could definitely lose to Houston, who's playing well. They could definitely lose to Denver, who's playing really well. It's a toss-up with the Chargers, and let's give them Tennessee and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So a good chance that they go 9-8. If they go 9-8, they're out. If they go 10-7, I think they're still out. Go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, they got to play ball, man. They can't afford a loss for real. Really, they can't afford no loss.
I tell you, I swear, man, these guys are in trouble, man.
But I still don't trust Denver. You know what I'm saying? Because Denver, Sean Payton, there's just something about him in the playoffs that just don't click. You just something about him. But
all right, so I'm gonna spend a couple more minutes because he's gonna do the NFC, and I think it's gonna take some time. But the rest of this is probably the most important thing on this thing anyway. I got some other stuff we could talk about, but I know you got a dash, 5 minutes before 8. Anyway, so the Eagles, okay, I think the Eagles are set, right? We ain't worrying about them losing the playoffs. It's just I think they're going to win the division, but they're going to get in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. Chicago Bears, they're going to get into the playoffs as well, but right now they're the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them. Oh, yeah, of course they could lose to Detroit. They could lose they got 2 games against Green Bay that could change everything for them, but I do still see them at least winning 2 or 3 of those games. They're going to get into the playoffs, right? They may not win the division, but they're going to get into the playoffs. Let's see. The Chargers are 9-3. Another thing that they have a good record, the Chargers, but they don't feel that much of a great team to me. What do you think?
The Chargers are too soft.
Yeah, okay. But there's no doubt that they could beat except for Detroit. Well, Seattle too. They could go 3-2, and of course, if they go 3-2, they're in.
I'll tell you like this, Alpine.
Go ahead.
The Chargers play anybody in the cold. It's gonna be over.
Okay, I know. I mean, that's a throwback, though, ain't it? That's a throwback.
If they gotta go to Denver,
yeah. I remember that cold game when they were in San Diego. They had to play that game in sub-zero weather. Actually, it was a good game, by the way.
They can't handle that.
Yeah. All right, so they're in though. The Rams, okay. That's the Rams. I was saying the Chargers. That's the Rams. I'm sorry. That was the Rams that was up there. Okay, the Eagles, we know what they're going to do. They're 8-4. They're going to win the division. I don't think. Oh
no, I think Eagles could fade, man, because they ain't been playing.
You think the Cowboys are going to catch them? They got the Chargers. I had the Rams. I was talking about the Rams, not the Chargers. They got the Chargers, Vegas, Washington's not playing that well. Buffalo could beat them, maybe. They're at Buffalo, but Washington's really not playing that good of a football. So I think they're going to win 3. I think they'll go 3-2. Go ahead, say what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Last game, Washington played well, but they just didn't finish the game.
That's true, but we're still talking about the Eagles, man. I don't think Washington's at their caliber.
The Eagles get their running game together. If the Eagles don't get their running game together, they ain't gonna make the playoff. They need their running game to pick up.
Ooh, the Eagles?
Yeah.
They're gonna make the playoffs, man. They're 94%. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They might not win the division. They might not win the division when they go into the playoffs.
They can lose the next 4 out of 5 games, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they don't need to win the next 4 out of 5 games. They just need to go 3-2. They're in the playoff.
Well, they better go 3-2.
Okay. They're gonna go at least 3-2. Let me see. The Cardinals, they're still in the hunt, man. But there's the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers still at the top of the division. All right. They got New Orleans. That's a win. Atlanta and Carolina is tough. That's tough. The Buccaneers playing Carolina, that's tough. Carolina might win one of those games. I'm giving them 3-2 too.
Tampa Bay can lose to Atlanta.
Yeah,
because Kirk Cousins, remember, Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than people give,
Well, of course. I mean, he could strike at any time. So yeah, so that's 3-2. They should beat New Orleans. They're gonna split with Carolina, probably. And they'll beat Miami. Or at least they should beat Miami.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
All right. So, and then the Seahawks, again, now the Seahawks are going to be Atlanta. They could lose to Indy, but they might win that too. Maybe the Rams are the toughest one on their schedule. And, San Francisco's trying to pick up their game, but I don't know. So I think the Seahawks are going to be in at some point. Green Bay, they're going to be in at some point. If not the division, they're going to be a wild card. So they're going to be battling out with Chicago. Right? And they got 2 games against Chicago. I mean, I like the way they have this set up, man. The last 5 games, you play these teams twice. So we're going to essentially be getting playoff games, before the end of the season.
Yeah, it worked out this year.
Yeah, they sure did. All right. And San Francisco, man, you know what? I didn't know San Francisco had a 9-4 record, man. It's like they're sleeping on me, man. And they could win. They could win out.
Man, listen, San Francisco. Every team in LA gets a soft schedule. The only one don't get a soft schedule is the Raiders. But San Francisco and the Rams, they always get soft schedules, man, every year.
Well, they got Indy and Seattle, man, so they could lose those games.
Now we didn't.
They could lose to Chicago too. Let me get my head of shit.
But again, there was no projections that any of those teams would be leading like they are in their division. Not at all.
Not at all. No, absolutely not. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the schedule's already set up, but if teams win, obvious, it makes it more intriguing of a contest. But nah. San Francisco and the Rams, they always get the soft schedule.
Yeah. Hey, man, so I like the fact that the playoff picture is heating up, man. So let's go ahead and we finished with that. So let's go ahead and kind of move on a little bit. College football, of course, the bowl game season. We don't have to spend time on that. The bowl games are coming up. I mean, not the conference games are coming up, but none of the majors right now. Basketball, so the in-season tournament is here, right? So here's the most important thing. So these are the teams that are going for the one and done for the quarterfinals. And those games are on the 9th, next week. The 9th and the 10th. So my Knicks are in there. I say my Knicks. But the usual suspects are there. The Lakers went undefeated. So, and they play the Spurs. So it's one and done. You have any favorites, so far? The Magic and the Heat. I got the Magic beating the Heat. That's of course.
You know what? What's intriguing about it, right?
What's up?
The fact that they incorporated this in-season tournament, right?
Yeah.
And we have the GOAT talk, right?
Okay.
LeBron has an in-season tournament championship.
Yes, he does. And the MVP.
Right. And he has 4 championships. So if he wins this one,
okay.
that's 6 championships, right?
You trying to say that this NBA Cup is equivalent to NBA championship final?
Yep.
You know what?
The NBA puts it like that, you know what I'm saying?
It's not gonna fly, brother. It is not gonna fly. Actually, it's unique though. It's unique because he won the first one and he got MVP.
Right.
Right.
So that's 5 championships.
So if he wins the second one and gets the MVP as well, which is going to be hard for him to beat out Luka for that. Okay. So, but still, I think the Lakers might be one of the favorites to take it. But then there's the Thunder, man.
Yeah, the OKC. I don't see nobody really beating OKC.
Yeah, these guys are hungry, man. They're hungry. They're absolutely still hungry, man. It looks like they're more hungry this year than they were last year.
Yeah, and everybody ain't even been playing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's incredible, and it's good to see because usually there's a fall off when a team is just going to be one and done, and then they look devastating the next year. So what happened to the team? But these young boys are, because they understand one championship ain't enough.
But they also understand team ball, I think.
Yeah, of course.
They understand the team ball. That's what makes them good because they all are young. All of them are, all of them have been a star at some point, but they put the team effort first.
Right.
And that's how you build championship. Especially today, that's rare.
Right.
So the fact that they're doing it, they're playing at a high level every day. Not everybody's, I think Williams is still out.
Well, hey, listen, man, I'm pulling for him. So the tournament is exciting, man. A lot of people like the tournament. So if any games I caught this year, they were all tournament games for the most part. So all right. So hey, man, what happened to my man gets a Dear John letter?
I know.
I don't need to pay the thing. Say, yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, well, he could have stayed. Where was he at? In Houston?
LA. What?
Well, yeah.
Before he went down?
Yeah, before he went to the Clippers, he was somewhere, and he had a decent season.
He was in San Antonio.
San Antonio. Okay, so he was in San Antonio. He wanted this year to be his, he's going to retire this year at the end of the year.
Yeah, he wanted to go home and play and all that.
Yeah, but he could have. He had a decent season with the Spurs as a old man. Decent season with young players. Okay, and if he could have stayed there, because they were going to give him a contract, so he went back to the Clippers, but not for the money. So he goes back to the Clippers thinking he could just pay out and do his let me retire with some dignity, going around from team, stadium to stadium, and then he gets a Dear John letter.
Yeah, somebody else will pick him up though.
Is he? I mean, you know what? If I was him, why? Just say fuck it, man. I'm not playing no more.
No, he's gonna play.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean, I know you're right, but at some point, man, because he does want to do that victory tour. Because he did let it be known that this was his last year, and he was like, why did the Clippers do that? Do you know?
I mean, You don't want to know my real answer.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead. What's the answer?
He's a brother.
Oh man, that's the last thing I thought you was gonna say. Come on, man. What you don't think you think they got you think it's a racial thing?
I think you talking about one of the top 10 point guards in NBA history.
Okay.
And who's been voted captain almost every team, president of the Players Union for years.
Oh man.
And now all of a sudden he's retiring. And now y'all let him go. Just 20 games in. Like, go ahead, man. You don't even come back.
You know what, man? I don't even know what to say, brother. Maybe I'm losing my black card. I'm losing my black card, man, because that shit didn't even cross my mind.
No, you didn't.
It's not like I agree with you. It just didn't cross my mind. What the hell?
You went to Catholic school out there.
Say what?
Because you went to Catholic school.
I don't know what that shit have to do with a goddamn good thing, man.
You're a little more compassionate.
Oh man, shit! I am losing my black card big time. Because you know what, man, it had absolutely no bearing on anything. I said, man, because he's black, get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. All right.
If he wouldn't have said nothing, they'd have kept him.
All right, man. You know what? All right. So let's move on to the soccer star who's hinted at marrying the porn star. Did you hear about this?
The soccer star that what?
This soccer star is left his wife and 2 kids to hook up with one of the most ratchet porn stars that ever lived.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Right. And you know what? Like I said, one of the things I did, right, when I found out her name, I heard her name once before, I had to go check for myself, brother. I had to go check for myself.
Well, you ready to go check some of her workout?
I had to go check to see the book. I had to go check. So the very first, I put her name in, Tiana Trump, right? And the very first video that came up, she's doing 6 dudes drinking out of 6 different straws. All a milkshake.
Now say it again, man.
I said I saw it. She was drinking out of 6 different straws.
Mm-hmm.
And drinking all the milkshake down like it was like juice.
And this dude done gave up his family for her.
Yeah, yes. He didn't marry her yet, but he's hinting at it. Yes.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it with love, right? It's always the dark-skinned dude crashing out over the light-skinned girl. Every time.
I tell you, no doubt. There's no argument on that one.
Every time. It's always that dude. And he can be a star in his lane, right? He's the man.
Well, look at his wife. If you look at his wife, she's another light-skinned chick.
Right. But look what they chase, though. These guys are not high value, high standard. They low.
Man, golly. I mean, why would you even think about? I mean, listen, if you wanted to fool around with her, that's one thing. But this guy, and he just signed a $35 million contract. I mean, of course, whatever his wife is going to extract out of him, you could cut that in half or more, right? She's going to do it. But man, I mean, you know what? There's no faith. I have no faith in mankind. When it comes to sex and women, there is no conversation. The hell with YouTube. YouTube is full of shit. Men are just fucked up when it comes to women.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. I mean, we gotta stop. We gotta stop arguing and going back and forth and all that, man. Because there's no earthly reason for this guy to want to marry a slut.
I'm saying that's why I went back to the kids so I can warn them about all of these old ass dudes on other world out here making dumb decisions.
It's so dumb, man. And it hurts. I mean, you know what? Why am I taking that shit personally? You know, I mean, God, Lee, there gotta be some, you know what? I say we are our brother's keeper, right? You know, when I look at this, and I know I can't internalize it, but when I see a black man, and he could be dark skinned or not, right? Doing something so stupid, I think it rubs off.
Yeah.
This shit rubs off, man.
You're gonna see the next brother doing the same thing.
Yo. Hey, yo, man, I'm gonna just be real quick. I know you got a couple of minutes. We're gonna do 2 minutes on this chick called Violent Barbie. That's what they call her, Violent Barbie.
Violent Barbie. Go ahead, brother.
That's all she does.
Meet Mona Kimura,
She could
the
pop.
real Chun-Li from Street Fighter, or When Cosplay Went Too Far.
これからもモノワールドよろしくお願いします。ありがとうございました。
Mona was born on April 12, 2001, in Mizuho, Gifu Prefecture, Japan. From early childhood until she entered university, she trained in boxing and karate. These were the beginnings of her martial arts career.
She just
Mona quickly demonstrated talent and became the Japanese
what she
national
does, throw
champion
that
at
kick
just
there.
18 years
she
old.
walks around with
She
her
later
foot,
even represented
and she
Japan
could box
at the
too.
2022 IBA Women's World Boxing Championships, cementing her status as one of the most promising Japanese athletes. Despite her success in boxing, Mona ultimately chose kickboxing, a less lucrative sport. After signing with the Crush promotion, fans quickly began comparing her to the Street Fighter character Chun-Li due to their remarkably similar fighting styles. And so, on November 16, 2024, Mona made her debut against a certain Ai Ogiwara. She opened the fight with jabs, and her first attempt at a kick resulted in a brief takedown. But Mona easily rose and responded with a powerful hook.
さあその赤木村モナがサウスポー、そして荻原愛がオーソドックス。
ファーストコンタクトはああいうね、握りの上段の前蹴り素晴らしいですね。
木村モナは今回はですね、蹴りからつなげていきたいということなんですよね。
いいですね、この元ボクシングっていうね、そういう実績なのに、この全然パンチじゃないと、期待が膨らみます。
そして対する荻原愛がとにかくパンチで私は倒したいんだと。
Nervously, Ogiwara attempted to clinch and landed a couple of punches. But Kimura seized the initiative. A left straight to the jaw knocked her opponent down.
期待できる試合なのかなとは思ってます。
そう。右から今右が決まった。
Okay, I would just leave up. Look at all these kids on this kid.
今選手スペースには、横を向く場面があったので、そこからね、そこをきっかけに畳み込めればっていう場面は。
The entire fight was dominated by Mona. Although Yuka managed to land a couple of hits to Mona's head, it made little difference. Kimura easily regained control.
三冠をマークしたという木村。
本当木村選手の左ストレートがすごく、デビュー戦もそうだったので、今日もですね、もう本当伸びてくるんですね。脱力した状態からしっかりと的確に、倒せるパンチを出してくるので、前蹴りと同様に、この井川選手は
そして右を返していこうというゆかです。前蹴りが鋭く伸びてきます。本当に石川さん、時間がないんですけれども伸びてきますね。
前蹴りをね、被弾し
The chick is she's a kickboxing genius. And she just got that one move, man. Golly. You know, so we're gonna start. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna ever hear about her. And listen, let me ask you a question. You remember Max Kellerman, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is his first real interview about, you know, and I'm not gonna go through it right now because it's gonna take some time. And he's sitting down talking to this guy. I forgot the guy's name. Everybody knows him. About Steve, you know, Bill Simmons. You know, and Max is, I don't know, man. You know, Max is Max. So, but here's the thing. I have one of my questions. I'm gonna ask you now. There were three main guys that were on First Take. There was more than that. Three main people that left in less than stellar circumstances. What do you think about what Stephen A. Smith did to Max Kellerman when he wanted to have him replaced? How do you think he handled that?
I mean, Stephen A. Smith, man, he's a character, man. He don't do exactly what the network tell him to do, and he don't want nobody outshining. He don't want nobody to look like they know more than him. Yeah, he was in his best days. I could have beat Stephen A. in basketball, because but at the same time, man, they paying him, so he's gonna do what they say.
So you think that was part of the element that his conversations with Max, it wasn't as fixed as he liked it to be, because Max was winning a lot of those arguments.
Right, because when it comes to the sports, Max studied his, football. I mean, he was a big on boxing, and he always spoke up. So
right,
Stephen A. wants you to sit there and let him cut you off and say what you gotta say.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So there's another person that Stephen A. Smith, and he wasn't as big as Max Kellerman, but he was a conservative guy who used to be on First Take, and that's Will Kane.
Yeah, I remember.
A lot of people didn't like him because he was conservative, but I like Will Kane because he juxtaposed all this liberal shit with conservative stuff from a sports standpoint, and he called a spade, and all of a sudden he wasn't there no more.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's all a narrative to be pushed, even in sports media.
Right.
When they try to push an agenda, it's with Disney. Disney will bring Peter Pan out and say he's the standard of a man. He's the man standard.
Yeah. That's right. If your tights ain't tight enough, goddamn it.
Yeah, if you ain't dressing like Peter Pan and flying through the air like him, then you're not a man. And it's right. A lot of people. And the funny thing about it, somehow that'll find its way to get attached to us.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
no doubt. So
I already understand what the plays be.
And the other person is recent, right? It's Molly Qerim.
Yeah.
All of those years, man, her departure was less. I mean, I know she wanted more money, right? And they were paying her less than 7 figures. And I guess
they could have advocated for.
Say that again.
Stephen A. could have advocated for it,
and he didn't.
Right, he could have advocated for it. So.
Yeah, and the point really is he didn't. And that's the fact. He didn't. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, she didn't. I know she wasn't asking to make $20 million like Stephen A. But
man, she gave her $1.5 million, and she'd have been happy.
There's no doubt. If they would have gave her 7 figures in anything between $1 million and $1.5 million, she would have been happy. Let me ask you a question. I think she would have been, for what she meant to First Take, for the eyes that came on it, not just to gawk at her, but even though she was annoying, people loved to hate her, people loved to love her. People, she was just she was one of the best facilitators on that show. That's why it lasted for 10 years.
Yeah. That's why they can't find no replacement either.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, Molly was a fixture to the, so how come they, with all the money they waste, you mean she wasn't worth $1 million?
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? I know it's different divisions, but you'll put out a Cinderella that cost you $300 million and it was a flop.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Why not, brother? I mean, how it go, man. You know the play, our pint. You know the play, man.
What you saying?
I said, you know how it goes. You know the play.
I knew.
You know what I'm saying? So,
OBJ. OBJ broke.
Yeah, he talking about he won't come back.
He can't come back. He's no good. He can't even play a season.
Well, they saying he want to come back
because he's broke.
Well,
they said he said he cut through $100 million. And now let's just say after taxes and family and everything else, maybe he had a good 25 mil left after everything, right? Maybe a little less. but his expenses and the way he lived, you know, he didn't do right by his cash. Now, you know, and this link here, you know, of course, we ain't going to get in because you don't have the time. But the point really is that Ocho and Unc were talking about how people waste money. You know, or just the show's on tonight.
Yeah, I'm great transfer. Yeah,
All right,
man, that's what they do, man. They spend their lives in their prime instead of putting something up. They want to ball and show off and shit. And then that year 8, 9, 10, they still ain't cut back. They still trying to show off. And now look at you out of the league.
No doubt. Look at
$100 million. Shit, come on, man.
It's sad, man. It's really, really sad. But the guys don't understand where the hidden costs are. Like you buy your mother a house, right? Instead of buying a house that a person who's middle class could afford, you buy $1 million house, but it costs $100,000 a year to keep it up.
Right, but I'm paying. If let's just say it's me, I used to think this all the time. If I ever make it, my mama gonna live with me.
That's right.
I'm not gonna go out here and do all that shit. She gonna live with me. And ain't gotta do shit. Just get up in the morning.
Even if I just build a little separate, you know, a little
man, I think she can have a whole nother wing of the house.
Exactly. Or even a little small house on the property.
Man, she gonna get another wing. So if something happen, I want her to be right there. I don't want to be looking. No, right here. When it snow, go on in there, mama, and make me some soup.
No, I hear you, man. I do hear you. If you get a big enough crib, it don't matter who's there, man. She's got a little wing, got a kitchen down there, everything she needs down there. You just see them in passing.
Everything you need is right there, brother.
I know, I'm with you, man. I mean, these guys are such bad stewards. I mean, but here's my thing. You know, with all the internet, with all the information out there, it's just really no excuse anymore.
Nope.
You know, and that's a sad thing, man. Hey, listen, man, I saw the views on the other sports show one-on-one, man. One of those things that was 500-something thousand. That was great.
Yeah, man.
It was 500. It was 500 something. That was great.
Yeah, we getting up there, man. We trying to, you know.
Yeah, so I just went live in this one again. I'm going live again. And, you know, I got to go ahead and get into some tutoring classes on how to build an audience and stuff like that. So,
no, man, I guess the time, you know, if you can do it in a day. If I was you, I'll play around with more time just to see where you can go with it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I have to do it, you know, just got to get some more eyes. Like if we're having the show with some people in the audience and all that kind of stuff. Because I see a lot of other sports shows. And they have a following because people know them. But there's a way.
Ratchet. You know, sometimes, you know, you ain't as critical as other players are. You know,
I'm not critical at all. So, but there's like bums like me. You know, I got to find an angle to say, hey, this is a bum sports show. Come on here and let's just kick it. You know, or something like that. But you know, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, man, let me let you go ahead and do your thing.
No, man, great show, man. I appreciate you, man.
I think thanks for stopping up, man. So somebody on. It's playoff time coming up here, man. Later on,
yes,
bro.
Winter football is the best time to watch football and play.
There's no doubt about it.
All right.
All right, man. All right. Okay, for you guys out there, I do want to play a little bit of what Unc says about people going broke. So we have a little bit more time.
Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to give my mom $12 million a year. You know that you have to spend, you have to use, save, invest, flaunt. I don't know. Probably should have left that flaunt out there. But go ahead. This is OJ. This is the Odell talking. Just be real. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to give my mom a house. Everything costs money. So if you're spending $4 million a year, what is that really? That's $40 million over 5 years. That's $8 million a year. That's a 5-year span, and you're getting $8 million. Can you make it last forever? And you always hear people who ain't us and ain't been in that position like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime. OBJ, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If you get $60 million liquid and that can't last you a lifetime, you got a problem.
Well, hold on, wait, hold on. Let's before you go on,
Yeah.
think about all the lottery winners, right?
Yes.
They all went broke.
Yes. Because cause think about what
All of them.
What did he say? What he put something in there at the end.
What did he
said,
say?
You spend,
Yeah.
use, save, invest, flaunt.
Right. Mhm.
Ocho,
Yeah.
do you really need 10 houses?
Damn.
Do you really need 15 cars?
No.
Do you need to buy everybody in your house, everybody in your family, a mansion that costs $1 million, $2 million?
Mm-mm.
Because here's the thing.
Yes.
First of all, if you buy somebody in your house, your family a house that costs $1 million to $2 million,
Yeah.
first of all, they can't afford the upkeep on it.
That's right. And see, I don't understand how this is not common knowledge across the board for all young players. And they say they have these conversations, in orientation when they come in for the new players, but it seems like so many of them ignore it. And I don't think it's emphasized enough that these guys getting these big contracts, there should be more emphasis on what are you doing with your money and how do you tell your family that you got to wait a year or two until I have something organized on how I'm going to help the family with this newfound money. I know you feel desperate for another year, another 2 years. It's just not going to kill you. Let me get my life together. Let me get this thing solidified before I start just spending money willy-nilly. First thing you got to do is prioritize your taxes. You got to prioritize, where you're going to pocket some money and where you're going to put it before you start spending it. It's as simple as that. And these guys seem to never learn this lesson. And Unc is going over this shit about the house. Wait till he talks about the plane.
Because if they could, they'd have it already. See, it ain't the payment, it's the upkeep.
Right.
When ish go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So now you buy somebody a Mercedes, you buy somebody a Ferrari, you bought somebody a high-end car.
God damn.
Now you says, okay, I bought you this. You got to get the upkeep.
Right.
Something happened to it. Tire go flat. Who they calling, Ocho?
You.
So that's the thing. But
hey, I have a question for better context for me. Is he just speaking hypothetically? He's not talking about his personal situation, or he's just using. He said,
and I always explain to people, like, bro, you give somebody 5 years, $100 million. What is that really? It's like 5 years, 60. You're getting taxed. Yes, it's $60 million. Okay, you buy you a house. Now you're not buying a house every year. I don't think.
No.
But here's the thing.
Yes.
Bro say he's spending $4 million a year.
So he is talking about himself, Chad. He's talking about himself. If everything was good with his money, he wouldn't be bringing this shit up.
You spending $4 million a year and it ain't a business related? You out your damn mind. Ain't no way in hell I'm spending $4 million a year.
Especially after the big $20 million chunk you had to give to the whore.
That's a lot of money there, boy.
Hell yeah. Yes.
Hey, how?
Let's just say, Ocho, you buy a house. Let's just say you buy a house that costs $5 million.
Yeah.
You 3-5%. I don't know what your interest rate is. That's probably, if you just playing an interest only loan, you're probably playing on $4 million, somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000, $30,000 a month. That's on your place that costs $45 million.
Right.
Okay, you buy mom a house. Mm-hmm. If I were to buy mom a house, I'm damn near gonna probably get her a house that I can go ahead and pay off. So I'm gonna spend $500,000 for mom because I got to get her something that she can clean for herself. Because I can't play for a cleaner, sir. Because see, that's another expense, Ocho.
Yes, it is.
Get a pool in the yard, Ocho. Guess what? You got to have it cleaned every week, Ocho. That's another expense.
Another expense. Yeah.
And you get a big ass house. Somebody cut the grass. I don't need. I need somebody to come with a pushing lawnmower and cut the grass.
That's another expense.
That's another expense on me, Ocho.
Yeah. I don't think players actually factor that stuff in when the money's coming in because it's coming in so fast and it comes in huge chunks.
Yes.
Everyone doesn't factor. Everyone doesn't have that financial savviness or that financial discipline to think long term. That's one of the few things I was really good at. While I was playing, when huge chunks of money was coming in, I was thinking long term, but I also had the goddamn financial discipline to understand that flaunting and being flashy wasn't my identity. My name, just my name, the brand itself was just as big as anything else I could purchase. You're not understand, you're not hearing me. The name itself was just as big as anything else I could purchase. So I can go anywhere and say, oh shit, that's a Ferrari. With that same place that Ferrari go, oh shit, they go Ocho.
Mm-hmm.
So it was no need for me to drive a motherfucking Ferrari because everybody already knew who I was.
You know what,
Well,
Ocho, get out your system. Okay, if you want to lease a Ferrari for a year to say, you know what?
Yeah, it's okay. But
I ain't finna get no Ferrari, didn't get a Lambo. But
No.
here's the thing, Ocho. Let's see what he didn't tell you, how it adds up. Flying private.
Oh yeah, hey, Uncle, go crazy. Hold on, Uncle. Now you be flying private too. Now I done seen you with your feet kicked up eating Popeye. You know.
Yes.
Now you see why I fly Spirit the past 20 years.
Ocho, but I don't fly everywhere private.
Right.
I don't go overseas private. You're talking about anywhere from between 10 and 20,000 an hour. If you fly overseas, how long is it going to take you to get to London?
Whoa, come back.
How long is it going to take you to get to Madrid?
Wait, bring that back around. Did you just hop an hour or the whole trip?
An hour.
They gonna charge you about an hour to go overseas?
Yes.
Oh heck.
So if you go overseas, guess what, Ocho? You flying back cross, so that might be a $400,000 trip, just like that. Maybe $1 million. How far you going?
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, so now that's the kind of thing people waste money. You know, and you think you're going to play forever. It's just not going to happen that way. So I just wanted to give you, you know what? He blew his money. No matter what he has left, it's not going to be enough to compensate for what he's lost. Right? Then nobody's going to sign him to a big contract. Whatever money he gets, even if he bring him back, he can't stay healthy. The guy hasn't played a full season in a long time. He can't stay healthy. And he's arrogant. And he's got blonde hair because he's stupid, right? Nobody takes him seriously. So even if he go ahead and try to get a contract, he's going to try to say, well, let me see if I can play one team against another, see if I can get the most money. Right now, you're a beggar. If you want to play football again and somebody offers you a contract, you're going to have to take what they give you. You're going to have to take what they give you, and that's it. Anyway, so, you know, OBJ, man, another guy bites the dust, man, living large, living like an idiot. 78% of they say of former NFL players file bankruptcy within 2 years of retirement. I can't believe that. 78? That's an article from 2009. It can't be that bad. You know, they say, well, you know what? In 2015, a study on National Bureau found that about 1.9% of the players filed for bankruptcy within 2 years. All right, so that 78% got a lot better because of knowledge. But they say within, you know, but that number rose after 12 years, it rose to 15%. So those original numbers were just for shock value. But that's a lot because they don't plan. That's why they're doing podcasts and everything else. So, you know, you got to grab people when they got the money so you can help them do the right thing before they do the wrong thing and it's too late. And taking care of people with your money like that is the absolute wrong thing. You know, even your mother and them. That's why Kobe Bryant fell out with his parents. You know, they were asking him to probably, you know, spend money on them because they wanted him to fund their lifestyle, and he didn't want to do that. You know? So, and it's a sad thing because you would think that your kids will take care of you, but it also depends on what kind of requests that you have and what kind of relationship you had to begin with. And apparently his relationship with his parents wasn't that good. And they definitely didn't like his girlfriend that he married, you know? And that's another thing. You can't stand in the way of a man and the woman he wants to marry, because men get stupid. We just see a guy getting ready to marry a porn star, drinking out of all kinds of different men's straws, and he's going to actually kiss and marry that woman. I can't believe it. Anyway, that's it for tonight. The comments we had, the questions I always come up with, mine usually work better when you have somebody else. But again, hey, how about athletes dating low vibrational women? I kind of talked about that already. You got all this money and you can't elevate your status to find women of your caliber or better. Not forget about the money, but women who have something to live for, women who have some kind of cultural standards. Instead, you go for these dots. It's just crazy. It's really depressing to see these athletes, the Jameson Williams and all that kind of stuff. Even Ingram, maybe Gorilla is on a hairy edge because her persona and her real life is not the same. Meg Thee Stallion with Klay Thompson, he could certainly have done better in terms of somebody who's more grounded as a woman to be a wife. But you know what? Every man has to make his own choice. Anyway, all right, so we talked about and then Tomlin, I really think that this is his last year with the Steelers. If they don't win, he's out. I think if they don't win, he's going to be out. All right, so that's it. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the replay on the replay. Let me know you were here. If you got to this point, let me know. And with that, we're going to hit the outro, and that's it, man. We're out of here. This was the disclaimer for what I use. I might put it in the description, but you can go through this thing and find out some of the links. All right. So we're going to say goodnight from the Swivel on the Sports Bar at the Sports Bar. And I appreciate anybody who hit the like button. I appreciate anybody who stopped by even for just a second. Hit the like button. We are out of here.
Grab your friends, it's time to play. Join the fun, we're here all day. Watch the game with drinks in hand. On the swivel, let's take a stand. On the edge of our seats, we live for the thrill. In this moment together, we're feeling the chill. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. Tasty bites and big screen thrills. Every moment gives you chills. High fives and cheers, it's quite a sight. Join the crowd, it feels so right. As the game goes on, our hearts beat as one. Memories in the making, oh, this night's just begun. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. So good night, my friends, till we meet again. In this world of the game, through thick and through thin.
Like, share, and subscribe. Unique Sports Talk. You're on the swivel at the Sports Bar. All paying over and out.